the law as it is written leaves it too open, I think, to a magistrate, say, or a judge. And the problem is, it's not just when a case goes to court. It could be that when you go to file a complaint to a magistrate, that a magistrate would
interpret it.
Accept that complaint under the 19(2) of the Constitution very easily without applying their mind. And then what happens is then you get stuck in the procedure of the law, which could take a very long time. I think that these are issues that really need to be debated and debated quickly, because it's becoming now too common. First of all, these cases are lodged all over the country. And what that means is that the person who is accused of this crime of blasphemy is supposed to appear at any of these courts all over the country. So that's a way of harassing somebody by wrapping them in these
court cases,
which are happening in many parts of the country. Now, what happened in the Hussain case is that his lawyers in Delhi managed to consolidate the cases at Patiala House, because a law like this can be used actually to harass someone. And the other thing that happens, as happened with Hussain ended up dying in exile with many of the cases still in the courts. It calls not just for refining of the law, but also the application. You see, there should be a time limit on how long
this case can go.
Case can run through the court. And other than even rewriting the law or re-looking at the law, it is also the entire legal process that one really needs to look at. And as we discovered in the Hussain case, the onus, once you are accused of blasphemy or, criminal conspiracy against the state, etc., the onus is on you, on the accused, to prove your innocence. Well, I think incitement to violence would be something quite direct, where you call for violence, would be my understanding. I think the interpretation of if you write something or paint something which somebody claims can cause violence, that's where this notion of interpretation comes in, which can also be very dangerous, because who is going to interpret that? I think I'm not so sure, because not being a lawyer, I'm not sure how much of that you can actually spell out. But I'm sure there are ways of defining it, giving direction. And I think what happens in the law, actually, I mean, I know that's what happens, is that there are precedents of past cases where particular sentences or a particular paragraph of a particular section of the law has been interpreted. And judgments have been handed down. So they become then the benchmarks, which define the limits of that, that statement in the law. And many people don't realize judgments that have been, especially junior lawyers or certainly magistrates. They don't, know the law well enough in these sections to know that there have been these judgments. One of the things is, for artists and writers, etc., we realize that many people do not know the law well enough, because unless you faced it, there's no reason for us to go and find out the finer nuances. If you make or you say something which is obviously offensive, either calling for, somebody's hands to be cut off or somebody's head to be cut off, or you say something deeply offensive about their religious beliefs, many of which we have actually seen and many of which have not been acted on by the courts, then it's a very clear case that is a case that calls for censorship. Again, I can cite from the Hussain case, there were these public statements made by people, which were reported in the press, where named people actually announced awards of like 60,000 rupees or 1 lakh or 3 lakhs for somebody to cut off his hand. Now, this is, this is a direct incitement to violence. So in a society like ours, this whole notion of taking offense is a very, there's no huge group of people who can take offense at one go. It's just not possible. Now, how do you define? Do you say that if 7 people say that this is, we take offense, therefore you have to, censor a work of art or shut down an institution or burn a building? Or is it 15 people? So I think in our case, this notion of taking offense is impossible to apply. In any of these cases, you have democratic means of protest. You have the right to not buy the book. You have a right to not go to an exhibition. You even have a right to go to the exhibition and protest, as long as you're not breaking any other law applicable at that time. You can write pamphlets. You can distribute pamphlets at performances or exhibitions, stating your point of view. All of this is, within your democratic right. It is the role of the state to protect the right of every citizen. The right of the citizen to protest, as well as the right of the citizen to come and read their book or give their lecture or participate in a discussion.